She wants closure. And that's what this lawsuit, I think, hopefully will force the sheriff departments to provide. Closure.
So money's not all it can provide. It can provide information.
Sure.
Closure.
It could, yes, it could provide closure and questions because, again, what the officers did that night, we still don't know. We have not heard from their own lips, and that's what I want to know. And we had so many different stories as to what happened that night. So the lawsuit is about September 16th.
Okay.
It's not about the days after. It's September 16th. That's what this whole lawsuit is about.
Do you think Mitrice is alive?
No. No. If I said yes, I'd be lying to you. I'm not going to say. I think she's passed.
Do you think that she could be living off the grid in some way, like going from homeless encampment to homeless encampment? You know, her father told me that whole thing about how she liked to talk about sharks and moving around.
First, I don't put too much stock in the father because I don't think he had any type of contact with her. I just find the location of where she was at. And the chance, it's possible somebody picked her up.
Yeah.
But I just think that...
we know she was alive till about noon.
That's right, we know that. And we know she was still in that area.
We know she was in that area.
And
we know it was daily time.
Right.
She was, you know...
Because that's not their field. But they have full authority and power to refer her for psychiatric
That's that
evaluation.
section 5150, which happens all the time,
Exactly.
as far as I know.
Over the Mitrice Richardson missing person case. That story coming up on Eyewitness News.
Yeah.
No, you don't need to see her head right there.
Yes. I heard later on that morning, after Mitrice had gone missing, one of the deputies very flippantly told me that, someone called in and said that they saw her somewhere around the Coast Canyon area. It was not until a couple of months later, after various searches that I conducted, that I found out. So I have to be honest when I say that my emotions swing like a pendulum from one extreme to the other because I don't know, because I don't have her here with me. Some days I succumb to, she may not be with us anymore. Her light may not be shining. And then the next day, I'm on fire to find her. Somebody's holding her. But the fact is, we don't know. And from day one, there was not, those first 48 hours are so critical. And we did not have the luxury of those officers getting out there and searching for her in a critical manner. So we lost a lot of time and possibly valuable information to bring my baby home. So the bottom line, I'm going to always hope and pray that we find her, find who's possibly holding her, and bring her back to me so that I can take care of her. My goal is to seek accountability as far as making procedural changes, making them enforce the procedures that's already of record. Their policy says we release inmates when it's safe and prudent. Clearly there was nothing safe and prudent about that area at that time, okay? So we need to make sure that those policies and procedures are shored up and they are updated and they are followed to the strictest, followed strictly. And I've seen the video, so I'm not hoping that it shows anything. I know what it shows, and what it shows is someone who is not a functioning adult that is functioning in the capacity of an adult. What it shows is someone functioning in the capacity of a child. It shows someone who is trying to make contact outside, perhaps trying to reach her grandmother, perhaps trying to reach me, but cannot successfully make a phone call. What is shown is that no one is coming to her aid as she's constantly calling out to someone, motioning for someone to come and assist her. I get the impression they were just ignoring her. She's, rambling on, they're just ignoring her. And I get that impression because when she finally gives up and goes lay face down on a cement concrete bench, then someone comes and peeks at her. She hears it and jumps up and goes through the whole ritual again, trying to make a phone call. She's trying to make contact to her family, but she's not being assisted. And then she finally gives up. In that area, that is not metropolitan downtown Los Angeles where the bus line is running every hour, where there's vendors that are still working the streets and cafes that are still open 24 hours. This is a remote area like Lancaster, very, desert, nothing for mouths, nothing but wild animals, nothing out there. All you can be is prey to wildlife or predators in an area like this. It's not safe for a male or a female to be released knowing that you have taken their means to protect themselves. No vehicle, no wallet, no money, no cell phone. I contend no identification. You know the person's vehicle is not going to be available until business hours. So you're just going to release them in the middle of the night to do what? Wander? They can't catch a bus. The city shuts down, so more than likely there's probably no local taxi service. Is that safe? Do you think that's safe for a male or a female? What do you think? Although they say that they are actively working this case, the attitudes is very lax and very complacent, because whenever we call in about statuses and try to get updates, you can clearly hear that they're annoyed that that we're bothering them. Mm-hmm. They, of course, they're not going to say that, but you can feel that in the tone. So we have to keep looking for her. And this lawsuit is going to be able to provide us with information that we are not aware of, that they are in possession of, that could possibly help us. I found out about a memo that Sheriff Baca wrote to the Board of Supervisors regarding Mitrice's situation. Mm-hmm. A lot of it was erroneous, but within that, he made reference to their MPP, their Manual of Policies and Procedures, or Practice and Procedures. It is an MPP. And in that, he says that their manual states they release inmates when it's safe and prudent. And when I asked Sheriff Baca that,
yeah, what did he say?
He never answered the question. As a matter of fact, he became very abrupt and instead turned around and posed me a question by angrily stating, "Why don't you ask me the question you really want to ask me?"
Which was, like, what did he mean by that?
Good question, because I told him I asked you the question that I wanted to ask. Yeah. And he said, no, you didn't ask what you really want to ask. And when I wouldn't respond, he turned to Rhonda Hampton and says, well, then you asked me the question. And she told him, I don't have a question, but if you want to tell me what your question is, I'll, please feel free. And he kind of kept in that mode. And then he turned back to me and asked me the question again. Ask what you want to ask. And I told him, I've asked the question. But then it was at that point that I realized he didn't even realize who I was and didn't realize what my name was, because I stopped at that point. And I said, what is my name? Do you even know my name?
What did he say?
He didn't say anything. He had a blank look because he didn't know my name. And when I realized that, I said, my name is Latice Sutton. I am the mother of Mitrice Richardson.